Good morning. This is a special edition of Political Paula. Many of you may notice over the next couple of weeks, at least until into late November, that I'm not wearing any makeup. And you know what? That's actually a cool thing. But let me explain. I love wearing eyeliner. But the problem is that I've been having some issues with my left eye. And because I am a huge reader, and I literally read sometimes 6 hours a day straight, with only short cigarette breaks in between chapters. I've been noticing that this left eye has a little bit of an issue with it, and if I wear makeup, the issue gets worse. So I will say this show has never been about the way I look. It's about what I have to say and what you think about what I have to say. So being pretty doesn't make you a great talk show host. It's what you are speaking that makes you a good talk show host. So I hope you will get past the pale face and the no eyeliner and the baggy eyes because there's nothing I can do about it. My eyesight is my greatest gift. And I'm not going to jeopardize it to look pretty for anybody, even myself. Believe me, I don't like not having eyeliner on. But again, I have an eye doctor appointment for those of you who think, oh, she's not going to go to the eye. Yes, I have an eye doctor appointment in November, and we're going to get everything taken care of. Maybe it's just a little cataract, or I'm wearing the wrong glasses. Who knows? But we'll figure it out. So anyway, bear with me. I don't think I look all that bad, actually. I'm one of those lucky people that at 50, almost 55 years old, I don't need makeup. And believe me, makeup is not good for you. Every time I put eyeliner on this past summer, even though I tried to take it off really good, my eyes just didn't feel right. So it's better to go au naturel. Anyhow, so most of you know that I was not supposed to be here right now. I was supposed to be at my trailer place, my home away from home for 5 months of the year. Well, my season was cut short. So now I'm here in Lancaster, and the grass is not always greener, I do have to say. And if you go to Facebook, I'm writing a blog about that later today. But there is something going on in Lancaster City right now, Lancaster City, Pennsylvania, that is part of what this show is about. And I've always stated on this show that I hate double standards, I hate double talk, and I hate hypocrites. And I've only been home a week. And right now there's something going on in our city. And it started actually 45 years ago when city employees knocked on everybody's door and said, do you want to plant a tree on your property? And thank God, because this is the house I grew up in, that my grandparents owned. My grandmother said, no, no, you are not putting a tree on this property. Thank you, Granny. Thank you for that. But see, some of my neighbors, they took the city up on this offer, not understanding that while the city was planting the tree on what they say is public property, city property, that the second that tree went into the ground in front of the homeowner's home, it became the homeowner's responsibility, which meant it was their responsibility to trim it, to keep it watered, to keep it updated, to make sure it didn't grow into the power lines, with which, yes, in 2019 in Lancaster City, this huge growing metropolis we have here, the power lines are still above ground. And yet, what does the city of Lancaster do? It encourages its residents to plant trees and then allow them to overgrow into our power lines. What happens when trees grow into power lines and there's big wind, big storms? Guess what? Trees fall down. Power lines come down. Boom! No power. You know how I feel about electricity. It is the most essential thing we have in our life. You must have electricity to live. Okay. So here's what's going on in Lancaster City today. So people have gotten their pavements marked by the city. If you get an orange arrow on your pavement, I didn't get one because, again, no trees. But my neighbor got one. The funny thing is, the reason that his pavement is uplifted is because of a tree that is not on his property. It's on his neighbor's property. But my neighbor is now responsible for repairing the sidewalk. Now, let's talk about the sidewalk, right? You guys have heard me complain about obnoxious children who chalk up my sidewalk, who jump around on pogo sticks in front of my house and piss my dog off and piss me off and run around and make noise on my sidewalk. Okay, here's the double standard thing. See, the sidewalk is a public sidewalk, right? I am not allowed to put cones up or say no trespassing because it's not my sidewalk. Until somebody else's tree or a tree of any sort, until the sidewalk needs repaired for any reason. Once the sidewalk that is public, that I can't keep other people off of, is broken, well then we get a letter from the city saying you have so many weeks to fix your sidewalk. But see, here's my problem. It's not my sidewalk. Trust me, if it were my sidewalk, I'd put an electric fucking fence around it. So nobody could walk on my sidewalk except for me, my husband, and my dog, and people who come to visit us invited. So, okay, I'm confused. Is it my sidewalk or is it the city of Lancaster's sidewalk? Because, see, it can't be both. That's the problem. It cannot be a public sidewalk that I can't keep other people off of and at the same time be my sidewalk when it needs repaired. And then I have to pay to fix it. It's either or. It's either my sidewalk, which means if I pay to repair it, then I can decide who walks on it. Or it's the public sidewalk, and if it gets broken, then the city of Lancaster fixes it at no cost to me. Okay, let's talk about that. What do you guys think of what I just said? Do you think I'm wrong? Let's add more insult to injury on this one. So this morning, again, I've been away 5 months. I have not bitched about anybody's trees at all. This morning, 7:30 a.m., I see all this equipment running through my neighborhood. I'm like, oh, shit, don't tell me. What are they doing now? Here, it was good news. They're trimming my neighbor's tree, which is very overgrown, all in the power lines. Here's the problem, okay? According to the woman who rents my neighbor's house, the landlord got a letter from the city. You have to repair your sidewalk because, again, the overgrown tree uprooted the sidewalk, and you have to trim the tree off away from the lines and off the other property line, which is my property, which is great. That's good news for me, right? The dumbasses she hired to trim the tree didn't put any no parking signs out last night, which they should have done. And by the way, I already talked to the city of Lancaster and they said, yes, they should have done that. So when they got here at 7:30 in the morning, most people hadn't left for work yet. Cars were parked under the tree. Oh, that's okay. They said, we'll work around it. So here's what ended up happening. Well, they worked around it all right. First of all, first branch they cut fell on somebody's car that was parked under the tree. I don't think there was any damage done, but I'm like, oh, shit. Thank God it wasn't my car. But my God, we'll just work around it. So what they did was they cut the tree away from the house, my neighbor's house. But then, I'm telling you, they were here 15 minutes. I have no idea how much this poor woman paid these people. They were literally here for 15 minutes, and because they didn't put the no parking signs up and cars were parked there, they didn't do the whole job. The trees, limbs are still on my property, and they are touching and into internet, cable, and power lines. So if we get a bad storm, those lines are coming down. So I did call the city. I talked to the arborist, Jim Bowers, and I explained. I said, I don't want my neighbor in any trouble at all. She did what the city asked of her to do. Guess what? Add more insult to injury. The landlord, my neighbor, it's a rental property, but the landlord said, I want the tree taken out. I don't want to deal with this maintenance crap anymore. Guess what the city said to her? Once it's in the ground, you can't remove it. They will not allow her to remove that tree. If she does remove it, she has to plant a new one. Huh? Again, she's telling the city, I don't want the hassle. I can't afford to pay to maintain the tree. Get rid of it. Nope, not allowed to get rid of the tree. The tree stays. Or a tree has to be replaced if you take it out. I actually, if I don't have her phone number, but I wish I did, because I would just tell her, take the goddamn tree out, plant a new one, because by the time the new one overgrows, I'll be dead. I don't have 40 years left to live. I'm 55 freaking years old. You think I'm living to 95? No. God, I hope not. But that's the way it is. It's so ridiculous. They are so obsessed with trees in this city. It's a city. We got parks all around us. You want to see a tree, go to the park. So the only way that tree is coming down completely is by an act of God. And believe me, that act of God won't be pretty, because the last time a major storm came through here was 3 years ago. And the block away from me took out almost all the trees on the block. All the power was out for a day. And then when they tried to repair everything, that took another power outage that included my house. I was at the bay at the time, thank God. My husband said we were without power for 4 hours. But an act of God can remove the tree. A homeowner has no choice, even though they are being told by the city they're responsible for maintaining the tree at their own expense. They can't get it removed, so they never have to worry about it again. Nice, right? Again, it makes no sense. It's double talk. It's double talk. So I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that one of these days, if that tree that is out front, that is on my property, but not on my property, the branches are on my property. It's overgrown. The actual stump and the roots are on the neighbor's property. That tree falls. It is going to take out, depending which way it falls, it's either going to take out my roof and their roof, or it's going to take out at least 5 different cars if they're parked under that tree, and all the power, cable, and internet lines. And then who do we sue? Who do we go to? And see, I don't worry too much about power outages in Lancaster. Because if there's a power outage and I feel it's going to be a long-term power outage, like power lines are down out front of my house, I'm checking into a hotel. It's so easy. It's not as easy to do that down at the bay, especially with the dog. The dog and my husband can stay here. My husband doesn't bother him. He goes to work every day. But I will be in a hotel. And there's some really nice hotels close to my house where I can check in. And I'm sure even if their power is affected, they have generators. Nice heated pool, jacuzzis, room service. Yeah, I don't worry about power outages in Lancaster. Because if it goes more than a certain amount of time, I'm calling an Uber and going to the hotel. Checking into the Eden Resort. Beautiful hotel, great food. Cable TV, internet. All the beauties of home, and I need to pack a bathing suit. Perfect. And they have a gym, so it's perfect. Anywho, here's the bottom line. Do you own your property or don't you? You know, every freaking year we get kids. I see beer bottles. I see beer cans, soda cans, kids hanging out on my porch. Now, my porch is my private property. I tell them, get the fuck off my porch, and I'm the bitch. You can't tell me what to do, bitch. Oh, you know what? Actually, I can. You can't be on my porch, because it's not your porch. Get off. But the sidewalk, that's what's so weird in Lancaster. So I want you guys to give me your very honest opinions. If I have to pay to repair the sidewalk in front of my house, doesn't that sort of kind of mean that I own the sidewalk in front of my house? Let's talk about it. And if my neighbor has a tree that she no longer wants on her property, that she is responsible for maintaining, for trimming, for fixing the sidewalk when the tree damages it, does she not have the right to say, I want the tree gone? Let's talk about it. Have a great rest of your day. You're getting a special Tuesday edition of Political Paula. I will be back on Thursday, and the topic will be the vaping illness epidemic. Whoa. I bet you can't wait to hear what I have to say about this one. For now, Political Paula is out.